Well, both the DA and ActionSA have raised concern about the limited scope of an independent panel that looked into the contents of a cargo which was loaded onto the Russian vessel Lady R. They've described the process as a whitewash. This is after President Cyril Ramaphosa last night announced that the three-member body had found no evidence that weapons were loaded onto the ship when it docked in Simonstown last December. That was despite a claim made by the U.S. ambassador to South Africa, Ruben Briggity, earlier this year. Well, Newzroom Afrika's Juniour Khumalo has been tracking that story to see just who is saying what, almost 24 hours on. Juniour, good to see you. So what are the opposition parties saying?
Thank you for having me, Tembegile. So the DA in particular, they were very vocal about this incident that happened. And they have been vocal about what the president said yesterday. They are not unhappy about him not revealing the full contents of the report that was done by the independent panel that was chaired by the retired Judge Phineas Mojapelo. So the main concern is the scope of the report. So the DA's Member of Parliament, Mr. Cobus Maria, says that he was called by the panelists and he was asked to only speak about the docking of the ship. And he says that this did not sit well with him because he wanted to speak more than about the scope. He wanted to talk about the pictures that he had gotten of some crates that he calls were being unloaded onto the ship. So he says that after hearing what the panel had asked him to do, he consulted with a DA lawyer, and he was given an advice that he must not take part in this panel investigation because it seemed to him that it was a whitewashing of the whole incident.
So what now? What do the opposition parties do next? Because it's clear a lot of them are not convinced by the explanation given by the president, especially when you consider the fact that we don't have access to the actual report. So what do they do now?
Yes, indeed. We don't have the actual report. The president had promised that he will put out an executive summary of the report by today. I checked that before we came on air, and it's still not available. And the opposition parties are saying that they are reserving their rights to take this matter on legal review. But also, the DA spoke about how they don't want to take the matter to court because it's a limited scope that the panel focused on. So they said what would be better to do is just speak to South Africans and inform them of what information they have. So I guess we'll be seeing the DA going into public platforms, social media platforms, and telling South Africans that this was a whitewashing event and that there is more to this than what meets the eye. They indicate that there was a movement of some equipment. They're not saying ammunition as they had initially said, but now they're saying that there's some equipment that was moved from South Africa to Russia, and yeah, it's better to tell the public about that themselves.
But as far as the South African government is concerned, then, Juniour, yes, am I right to say that they believe, for all intents and purposes, that a line has been drawn under this, it's been fully dealt with, and they preferred everyone just moved on?
I believe that that is correct because even the embassy, the U.S. embassy in South Africa has communicated today that they are happy with how the investigation was carried out. They said that this investigation was a serious investigation into the allegations that they were made. They did not, however, speak about whether the ambassador, who was very confident in the beginning, whether he had submitted any information to the panel itself. So I'm guessing that is the end of it. But the ANC itself, with its Secretary General Philem Balula, has indicated that they want a recall of the ambassador, of the U.S. ambassador.